Hello, and welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank y'all for joining me again tonight as we do today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. And if you're in the United States, happy Halloween to you. I honestly not sure if anyone else celebrates it. So, um, hope it was a great day for y'all. I'm looking forward to this. This will be the first time that I hear or read this podcast or this meditation right on the podcast with y'all. So you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. This will be fresh to you and fresh to me. So it's always an adventure. You'll hear me process things, look things up right here on this podcast with you, and you'll have a front row seat to my own personal growth and understanding of what walking the spiritual life actually means. So it's a pretty good time. October has been jam-packed with just extremely, extremely powerful stuff. Loved every I don't think there's a bad reading this whole month. Uh probably the most power-packed month of meditations. I mean, there's been a lot of great stuff. I think February was a good one. I think July was my number one, I believe, before this. So it's it was a hard one to beat, but October's beating it. Let's see if it ends on how strong a note it ends on, because there's no way it can't be. So here we go. This is October 31st of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Great will be his pain and unrest who seeks to stand upon the approbation of others, to detach oneself from every outward thing and to rest securely upon the inward virtue. This is the unfailing wisdom. Having this wisdom, a man will be the same whether in riches or poverty. The one cannot add to his strength, nor the other rob him of his serenity. To refuse to be enslaved by any outward thing or happening, regarding all such things and happenings as for your use, for your education, this is wisdom. To the wise, all occurrences are good, and having no eye for evil, they grow wiser every day. They utilize all things, and they put all things under their feet. They see all their mistakes, and as soon as made, they see all their mistakes as soon as made and accept them as lessons of intrinsic value, knowing that there are no mistakes in the divine order. To love where one has not loved, herein lies the strength which shall never fail a man. Wow. One thing I love about this stuff, um, you hear a reading like this, and then suddenly what's running through my head is all of this psychoanalysis stuff. It's these modern day teachings of opportunity, they call it. And there's so much self help jargon. And this stuff has just been around for so long. I just find it so funny and interesting how it's become such a phenomenon today, even though it's been known about, right? All these inspirational things you'll see on your social media feed, whether it's IG or Facebook or whatever, people trying to share these messages that have been around for a very long time. It's rediscovering truths. That's what it is. These spiritual truths, these spiritual understandings that have been around for years, way before James Allen. The thing about spiritual truth is it always has been, and it always will be, whether we know about it or not, is the only thing that varies. Whether we know about it, then practice it. It's not just created and we're not giving it a shot. Like, these are principles and understandings that have been around for longer than we know about, or longer than we could ever record. Spiritual principles are true in nature as well as in our being. So, all right, let's go through this one again, line by line. This is a longer one, so we'll get right to it. Great will be his pain and unrest who seeks to stand upon the aberration of others. Let's look up aberration just to make sure we're on the same page here. Deviation from what is normal, expected, or usual. Departure from truth or morality. Ooh, okay. God will, excuse me. Oh, great will be his pain and unrest who seeks to stand upon the approbation. Actually, that was the wrong one. 1 second. APPRA. APPRO. Approbation. Approval. Okay. A lot different than what I was. Excuse me. The approval or praise. Okay, here we go. Great will be his pain and unrest who seeks to stand upon the approval and praise of others. That is an absolute fact. That was my life. Before I started using drugs and alcohol to medicate myself because I was so uncomfortable living because of the life I had created because of my own perception, I depended on the approval and liking of others to fuel my forward motion. The things I did were really guided by who would like me the most if I did things, right? Or the most people that would like me if I did something. If I was something I didn't think would be well received, I wouldn't do it. It took, I mean, from my own personal example, I wouldn't have done this podcast if I back then because I didn't know how many people was going to like it. I didn't know how many people would take it seriously. I didn't know all of this unknown. I didn't know if it would make people like me. Honestly, I was pretty sure it would make people not like me. So it wouldn't have happened. And I was absolutely miserable. But being someone of integrity, trying to actually make a change and a positive influence in this world through the spiritual understandings that I've been blessed with and the spiritual understandings that I've been shown, now that I'm at now matters more to me than the applause of others. So great will be his pain and unrest who seeks to stand upon the approbation of others. That's how you say it. That is true. And so many fall and have to learn that lesson the hard way. All right. No, man, I spent a lot of time on this one already. To detach oneself from every outward thing and rest securely upon the inward virtue. This is the unfailing wisdom. That is a very big statement. Has some big words in it. To detach oneself from every underline that every outward thing. That's hard. Um there's a reading in the 12-step community about one of the founders of 12-step programs, written by one of them, how we have to remove all dependencies, become solely dependent on the God of our understanding, that source and creation. So this is this theme is familiar to me, but the more I learn about this stuff, especially through these meditations. I learned that these outward things I need to detach from, that I have to remove my dependency on, is not just physical, material things. It's not just people. It's my own personality. It's my own opinions. And there's more and more stuff that I've used to gain value and approval. And it's been a process, and it will continue to be a process. I hope one day to actually complete it, a purification process, and removing my dependency on everything external to myself, and to rest securely upon the inward virtue. This is the unfailing wisdom. That's where the strength comes from, because anything I depend on externally to me will fail. I will fail myself, my personality, all of it. But what does not fail me is when I stand on honesty and virtue and integrity and all these other virtues like hope and faith and forgiveness and love and all these things. And when I function from that place, independently of what my ego tells me to do, my life changes substantially in ways I never knew was possible. And this is the unfailing wisdom. He finishes that sentence. Unfailing wisdom. That's a big statement right there. Standing upon virtue is the unfailing wisdom, as anything else will fail you. It's a painful truth to take in. At least it was for me. Having this wisdom, a man will be the same whether in riches or poverty. Because your external circumstances will no longer dictate your behavior. That's the biggest thing. I can't stress that enough. If your external circumstances dictate your mood, your actions, your behavior, you are a slave to it. Every time. When you stand on virtue and decide, I will always act lovingly, forgiving, joyously, whatever it is. When you choose to behave that way, regardless of what's happening around you, that's where you have strength. So important to realize this. A man with the same, having this wisdom, a man will be the same whether in riches or poverty. Money does not make a man, character does. And a money will only make a man more of what he is. If you're a liar, cheating, a thief, you'll be a liar, cheating, a thief with money. If you're an honest, good, forthright man, you'll be an even more honest, good, and forthright man, even with money. I believe that. The one cannot add to his strength, nor the other rob him of his serenity. Money will not add to somebody's strength that does not have any, and it will not rob someone of their serenity that has serenity. It's an amazing thing. So many people rely on money to fix their lives. And in some ways it might take some of the pressure off, but the reality is the makeup of your character is what is going to dictate your happiness and joy in life. Remember that. All right, moving right along here. I'm trying to speed this up, or I'll be on this one for 30 minutes. To refuse to be enslaved by any outward thing or happening, regarding all such things and happenings as true for your use, for your education. This is wisdom. So that's what we were talking about. Anything external to yourself that can get you to change how you want to act and decided to act, you're a slave to. To refuse to be enslaved by any outward thing or happening, regarding all such things and happenings as for your use, for your education. This is wisdom. Everything that happens, someone told me early on in my recovery, in my sobriety, that life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. And this is the epitome of that statement, right? To be able to learn from everything that's occurring in my life, to be able to grow in my knowledge and understanding of myself and the world from the experiences that I'm going through. That is wisdom. To the wise, all occurrences are good. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm going to read that again. To the wise, all occurrences are good, and having no eye for evil, they grow wiser every day. So instead of looking at things and going, an evil person did this to me, or this is an evil thing, and victimizing yourself and blocking you in that state of stagnation and defense against the world, we look at it as good because I need to learn something about myself. I need to grow in some capacities. And when we can do that, when we can invite the challenges into our lives as they come up and choose how to look at them, we grow wiser every day. That's the only thing that will happen is we will enjoy our life much more and we will grow wiser every day. Beautiful. Beautiful. They utilize all things and thus put all things under their feet. So everything's just another experience to go and learn from. What that means. They see all their mistakes as soon as made and accept them as a lesson of intrinsic value, knowing that there are no mistakes in the divine order. Now, first of all, I love that sentence. They see all their mistakes as soon as made. So as soon as the mistake is recognized, as soon as we make the mistake and we go, oh, okay, it's like the 10th step in 12-step recovery, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. They saw all of their mistakes as soon as made and accept them as lessons of intrinsic value. We grow from these things. We grow from our mistakes and we continue to purify our character, knowing that there are no mistakes in the divine order. Now, this understanding I have of that sentence, that statement is not God throwing you through a punishing situation, but more so, I need to learn about myself, why I make the choices I do. So I will put myself in a position of pain, and that is needed to purify myself, to learn about myself, to work these sins and character defects out. I do not believe I'm a punishing God of my understanding, creator and source. I believe I am due my just punishments from the decisions that I've made. It's my responsibility to grow and change. So when it says there's no mistakes in the divine order, that is a lesson I had to learn that if I placed myself in that position, it was supposed to happen so I could learn from it. Simple as that. All right, now to wrap this up. To love where one is, to love where one is not loved. Herein lies the strength, which shall never fail a man. To love where one is not loved. So choose to love. Choose to always love. To love where one is not loved. Herein lies the strength, which shall never fail in man. Always choose love. Especially where you haven't been able to in the past. Especially where you did everything but that in the past. Choose to love. It'll change your life. I promise you. So, all right, well, that's it. That wraps up October. An incredible way to do it. That's a whole perspective of life we just talked about. That is powerful and will set you on a path of growth that you can't even begin to prepare yourself for. You just take the journey. So I invite everyone to really take that one in and apply it because it will reap more benefits in your life than you ever thought were possible. So, thank you all for joining me again tonight. I look forward to November 1st tomorrow. And until next time, thanks.